Hello, welcome to this tutorial. We are one step left from starting to build our AI for the self-driving car. It is to install PyTorch and Kivy. So we're going to start with PyTorch, and first let me explain why we chose PyTorch rather than TensorFlow for this course. Well, that's because PyTorch is more powerful. As opposed to TensorFlow, PyTorch can handle dynamic graphs. That means that you have a graph of computations when you have to compute the gradients in the deep learning equations lying behind the artificial intelligence models, and this graph of computations allows to compute very quickly the gradients in the composition functions. Indeed, when you feed forward the signals in the neural network and when you backpropagate the loss error back into the neural network, well, you have these gradients that you have to compute. These are the gradients of the loss error with respect to the weights. And since we have several layers in the neural networks of the deep learning models, well, you have to compute gradients of composition functions. Because one layer is expressed as a function of the previous layer, which is expressed as a function of the previous layer. So you get these composition functions on which you have to compute the gradient, and that leads to nasty computations. But thanks to the dynamic graph that exists in PyTorch, well, these computations of the gradients of these composition functions are done very efficiently. And so the consequence of all this is that the training with PyTorch plus with a strong GPU acceleration will be much faster, and therefore you will be able to train your model much more efficiently thanks to these dynamic graphs. So that's the main reason why we chose PyTorch. Besides, it is really developed by the best teams in the world, since indeed it is developed by Facebook and NVIDIA. So we're going to go with PyTorch, and so let's install it right now. The good news is that the installation is very easy. First, you have to go to this link, pytorch.org, and then you will find this page, and then everything is very intuitive. First, you choose the right system that you have, so it's either Linux or OS X, and if you're on Windows, please follow the tutorial made by Kirill on how to install a virtual machine to get a Linux system, and in that case you have to go here. As far as I'm concerned, I'm on OS X, so I'm going to click here. Then Package Manager, I recommend to choose pip, so let's click on it. Then Python, so as you saw in the previous tutorial, we installed Python 2.7, so we have to click here. And finally, you can choose to install CUDA as well. That's only if you have an NVIDIA graphic card on your computer, so you can check that in your system information. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, then you can click on CUDA 8.0, and if that's not the case, you can just click on none. So I have a Mac, which doesn't have an NVIDIA GPU, so I'm clicking on none. And then the rest is very simple. You just copy this first command here. You just copy it, and then you open a terminal. There we go. You press enter, and that's the terminal. You just have to paste the command line that you've just copied, and then press enter. I'm not going to press enter because PyTorch is already installed on my system. But you just have to press enter, and this will install it automatically without any issue. Alright, and then you can also install Torch Vision, but I don't think that's necessary. I don't think we will be using it, but just in case you can install it as well. So that's the same. You just paste the command here and then press enter. Alright, so I'm going to close the terminal, and now by doing this you will have PyTorch installed on your system. And so now we can eventually say that you're ready to build an AI efficiently. Then the last thing we need to install, and that's not related to building an AI, but to make the app, to make the self-driving car app, because we're going to make a map with a car on the map on which we will be able to draw some roads for the car to stay in. Well, for this we need Kivy. And so that's the second link here. I'll provide the link right after this tutorial on some article, but that's the link you have to go to, kivy.org/docs/installation/installation.html. And then again, you just have to find your system, Windows, OS X, or Linux, and then you just click on the right link. So I'm on OS X, I'm going to click on that. There we go. And then that's very easy. You just need to follow the instructions, just copy-paste the commands on your terminal, and this will install Kivy without any issue. So in this page, you can see that you have several ways of installing Kivy. You can install Kivy using Homebrew with pip. That's the first way. You can install Kivy using Mac ports with pip. That's the second way, so you have to choose between this one or that one. And you also have the third way, which is using the Kivy app. I don't really recommend that solution. And in fact, I recommend the first solution, using Homebrew with pip. So it doesn't matter whether you have Homebrew already or not on your system. You can directly copy paste this command, then paste it on your terminal and press enter. Then you do the same for this command and then this command. And then you don't have to run this command. This is just for the development version. So basically, you just have to copy paste one by one these three commands, this one, and this one. And if you have any problem, like something saying you don't have Homebrew, well, I think you can click on it and this will lead you to Homebrew, and that's how you can install Homebrew. Again, you just need to copy this command, paste it in a terminal and press enter. But I think it won't be necessary. I'm telling you this just in case. Alright, and now you're ready to go. You're ready not only to build an AI, but also to make a self-driving car. It's going to be very exciting, quite challenging. We're going to do a lot of code. We're going to have 3 code files. 2 files to make the map, with the car in it and the movements of the car, and some code to define the goals that the car will have to accomplish, and some code that will make the connection between the map and the AI. And then we'll have the AI code, and that's the one we will implement step by step, line by line, so that you can clearly understand what's going on and so that you can really become an expert in AI development. So I can't wait to start. This is going to be very exciting, and until then, enjoy AI.